In June 2023, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the practice of affirmative action is unlawful. So, what is affirmative action? In simple words, it means that colleges can use race as a factor in admitting students, meaning that the recent Supreme Court ruling made it so that race can no longer be taken into consideration as a factor in college admissions. The case was made that some students did not receive admission on the basis of their race, and that their seat was granted to those who benefit from affirmative action, namely blacks and Hispanics. You see, when someone applies for college, depending on their race, their likelihood of getting in based on test scores is significantly different. So, some who applied with stronger credentials felt it unfair that they had to work harder in order to get admitted into the same university as someone else applying with lower scores. Now, that seems unfair, but it makes a little bit more sense that it exists once you look a bit into its history. Affirmative action was bred in the 1960s as a result of the civil rights movement to give minorities special access to opportunities. During that time, segregation was still present, which meant that in some states, blacks were not even able to use the same toilet as whites. So it makes sense that black people had to be given special privileges to balance equality. They were already so behind considering so many factors. But not only that, but higher institutions have made the claim that diversity is important to society, that diversity breeds better outcomes, leading to better innovation, doctors, and professions of all kinds. However, over several decades, many people had argued against affirmative action, but for the most part lost. But what was different this time that led to such a drastic decision? And that difference is that the plaintiff was an Asian group. In the past, all accusers were white and was shut down on the basis that affirmative action helped level the playing field for underrepresented races. However, this time it's not whites, but another minority group that's making the case that affirmative action gives preferential treatment to some minorities, but actually puts down minorities of other races, i.e. Asians. You see, Asians have a significantly harder time getting into Harvard based on credentials, and they made the claim that they were being denied admissions solely due to race. But let's take a step back and ask, why was this such a big deal? Why does it apply to the entire country? Doesn't it just apply to Harvard and that can be the end of the story? Well, the reason why this was such a countrywide event was that the claim against affirmative action was that affirmative action goes against the Constitution of the United States, which in one part states that all Americans receive equal protection under the Constitution. The court ruled that affirmative action violated the guarantee of equal protection of all Americans and actually even advanced racial inequality in education. So, what's going to happen from here? Higher education is not going to drop their values of diversity from their admissions process. Now that they're less likely to consider race as a factor for admissions, they'll look at other factors, such as wealth and perhaps location, to continue advancing diversity in their institutions. But who knows? Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments.